Welcome back, guys. We're here for a Sunday market watch. This is going to be quite a long market watch just because there's so much going on in the market currently. Lots of cards are going up quite a bit in price to almost to buyout status. So I'm looking forward to going over this. And certainly there are quite a bit of cards that we talked about and hopefully you picked up. But I'm going to enjoy a beer going through this because this is going to be pretty long. If I can get it open. Why is this one stuck? 1 second. I'm gonna try to get this open. There we go. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and dig on in. The first card I wanted to bring up is Sangan. And I'm gonna give a shout out to Wasim. If you haven't seen his channel, go check it out. Certainly cool for like deck profiles and just talking about cool combos and stuff. But he pointed out earlier this week that Sangan's actually a really good normal summon currently, especially if you're playing cards like Crystron Hackfibrax, because basically what you can do is normal summon this, link summon into Almurjarav, I think it's called, the link one. And when this card's sent to the graveyard, of course, you can search a monster with 1500 or less attack to your hand. Unfortunately, with the new like updated card text, you cannot activate the monster's effects. But what you can do is if you don't need your normal summon, what you can do is like search a hand trap for your opponent's turn, which is really good, which that includes all Ghost Sisters. Or what you can do is search Crusadia Alboria and basically special summon that to your the zone that Almudrov points to, because it's not an activated effect, I'm pretty sure. And then you can go into your Hackfibrax, which is really good, really strong. And these are going up in price. I'm currently looking at picking up a Turbo Pack playset, but I do have a Hobby League copy. Unfortunately, like even though I think that's the coolest looking version, you can't technically play it in a tournament setting. I have before played it at locals, and it just depends on the person. I haven't had any trouble personally, but I know other people have. If you try to play this version at, say, at a legit tournament, like at a regionals or something, someone can call you out for a game loss, which is super shitty, but it does happen. But for the most part, I think if you're playing at locals, you won't have trouble. So if you want to play the Hobby League, which I think is the best looking version, I think that's fine. And I think that this is just a good investment in general. I think all Hobby League cards will skyrocket in price at a certain point. But the ultra rares for light plays, we'll take a look. It's for around $70, $66. And then for near mint, you're looking at 74. Up to you what you want to get. I think maybe even getting the near mint's worth it. But it's a turbo pack version, so this card's always going to hold value and continue to go up in price. The super rare is almost bought out. There's only 9 copies left. Also a really good version to have, but you're looking at this, unless you want to get a German, which is 65, about 140 for light play and 240 for near mint. I would pass on that, honestly, and just go for the ultra rare. In my opinion, the ultra rare looks really good and looks a lot better and is worth the money, whereas I don't think that the retro pack is. The super rare out of Dark Legends, I mean, I think you're going to spend similar money to the ultra rare, maybe a little bit less, so just get the ultra rare Sangan. The secret rare is also not bad, and you can get a lightly played first edition for 28, because I just checked 2 minutes ago. I'm not going to click into it. The Hobby League is around $28 for lightly played to near mint as well, and then the gold series is going to be around 16. And all of these are really low on listings, and then that just leaves non-hollow printings. And the metal rares first edition is $15, so hard pass on that. If you aren't going to get a hollow version, even the gold rare is fine if you want to get that, but I would get the secret rare or Hobby League if you're going to get the gold rare. I would just go for the Toon Chaos rares, honestly, because that's got the most recent card text. So I think that you're better off doing that because it's higher rarity than some of these other ones with the updated card text, and it's from Toon Chaos. So get a first edition Toon Chaos rare. But yeah, I would highly suggest you invest in some sort of hollow version of this if you can, and if not, get the rare for Toon Chaos. The other thing is like you can special summon the Sangan off of Tour Guide, which is really, really good, especially if you're playing Crossout or something to mitigate the risk of getting ashed. And then it's pretty much like limitless possibilities. One of the things that I was doing a year ago, or two ago, when I was playing Altergeist, is I was playing a Tour Guide Sangan package, and then searching my Altergeist multi-faker off of Sangan whenever I linked the two off into Verte Anaconda, and then go into Dragoon, and then you have your Altergeist play set up as well, which is really, really good. But moving on, I also wanted to look over Crusadia Arborea. Luckily, there are two printings, one common, that's like 25 cents, and then the super rare, which is kind of low on copies, is around $2.50, $2. So around $2, and then going up to around $2.85. But these are selling every day, and as you can see on this price chart, we went from like $1.29 in mid-January. Now we're above $2. If you don't have this card, I would pick it up because it's a level 3, which is really, really good for say Phantom Knights or something like that, or just a lot of decks in general. Like you can go into multiple rank 3 decks or rank 3 monsters. But it's also a tuner, so you could also play it as an extender and go into like Boral Sword Dragon or something. Just really, really good card, and I would definitely have your copies of this if you don't already. But if you don't want to spend the money on the super rare, you can get the commons as well, because honestly, if this starts seeing a lot of play, it's going to be like any other card that we've seen recently, where it doesn't matter what the version is, it's just a couple dollars plus. Moving on, we have Predaplants, and I wanted to cover this because we've seen quite a bit of buyouts. Some people have been talking about playing a Predaplant Albaz deck, which looks to be like pretty decent. But this is the craziest buyout I've seen in a long time, and it's Predaplant Trifoveratum. Trifeoveratum. I don't know how you spell that or say that, but hopefully that's close enough. But it's from Legendary Duelist Immortal Destiny, and it's a super rare, not even an ultra rare, and it's going for $40. And that's partially because it is definitely a SuperPolly target, but yeah, that's just crazy to me. If you have these, I would sell them like as fast as you can. I think I might have one of these, and I'm going to go dig through. I'd probably need to do this anyways, but I'm going to go dig through my box of bulk. I have like a huge box of bulk from like the last 4 years with all kinds of hollows and stuff in it. And they were what I would classify as low value in the past, but I need to go through and see what I have so that I can sell it. Moving on, the Verte Anacondas, I talked about this briefly, but you really, really need to make sure that you at least have one copy of this, especially going in more towards the Megatins, because when we get another copy of Dragoon and another copy of DPE potentially, these cards will skyrocket because everybody's going to want to play it now that it's budget. And I could definitely see the ultra rare going back towards 45 and the gold rare going towards 20-25. So make sure you have them, maybe even pick up a playset if you can. Going on, one card that you can pick up that I think is decent is Predaplant Chimera Flesia, because you can link away. You can if someone's like if you went first and you set up a SuperPolly and someone's going second and they're trying to set up DPE, you can use your SuperPolly to get rid of their Verte Anaconda and one dark monster you control or one dark monster they control. Maybe even let them get DP on the field and then activate SuperPolly, and then fusion summon Predaplant Chimera Flesia. And this card's been bought out before, but it's like $7 right now. And I do have this card and it looks amazing, but that's also my bulk box because this was cheap for a long time. Also, Predaplant Dragostophilia coming out of Dual Power. This card was like 30 cents for the longest time, and I know I have some of these. But they're up to like $3 now, and they're continuing to go up. I don't know if I would sell it quite yet. I think it'll probably continue to rise, maybe up to $5. But have them around and maybe list them like ahead of time for $3 or $4 on TCG Player, or like $4 or $5, and then just wait for them to sell. I don't think that it's that great of a card, but it definitely can be pretty good as a SuperPolly target. And then keep your eye on some of these other Predaplant cards. Like I have a playset of these. I did open quite a bit of Fusion Forcers like a few years ago when this came out, and these are going for like over $2 for a first edition, and at the time, and almost up to $3. And at the time when I pulled these, they were worth like 25 cents a piece. So these are definitely going up, and you can see on the price chart. I'm going to be digging these out of bulk and selling these, honestly. Next is Incredible Ecclesia from Burst of Destiny. I know we've talked about this card a lot, but I'm going to continue to talk about it because this card will be bought out. Maybe not bought out, but it's going to skyrocket in price very soon. I talked about this earlier this week when there were some copies for $46. And I said, this, like, if you haven't picked these up, this is the time. This is the lowest this card's been in a while. Pick it up. And now they're up to 52, up to 53. And they will start to go up quite a bit in a few pages. There are a lot of people listing them for the 52 to 55 range. But like we've seen with other cards, like they just start disappearing really quick. And as you can see with the sales history, these are just selling every single day. I mean, this is today 4/3, and we have a ton of sales, like over like maybe 15 sales today. And that's been about 15 sales per day, every day, maybe more. I think that you won't see it this low again for a while. So if you haven't picked them up, it's getting close to the deadline to pick them up, and you're going to need this card. If you didn't know, like when we get Albaz Strike, basically what you can do is if you're going second, you can special summon Ecclesia without using your normal summon, tag it out to go into your Albaz, and then, you know, theoretically SuperPolly into another card, getting rid of your opponent's card. I'm going to kind of skip around a little bit here because to go along with this, let's see, I want to make sure where it's at. Try not to spoil too much here. What's here? Yeah, okay. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Kaijus, because going along with that whole SuperPolly thing, if your opponent has, like, say, like a monster that you want to get rid of, like a light monster or something, and you can't SuperPolly it because there's no good targets, what you can do is have Kaijus that are, like, say, dark, or, you know, whatever attribute that you want, like say Radiant, which is going for around $3. You can use that to tag your opponent's monster out, and then now you have a dark monster to SuperPolly. So then you can get rid of the Kaiju that you gave them, and then, you know, give yourself an advantage. One thing to note is I wouldn't buy these because we will be getting another copy in the Albaz Strike structure deck. But one of the cards that I really wanted to cover to go along with this is actually Interrupted Kaiju Slubber. I think this would be a really good tech choice in Albaz because it's like basically a Regeki, and then you give them, say, a Radiant is what you'd want to give them, and then give yourself a Radiant probably, and then SuperPolly those out for something, and then basically you get to wipe their board and then also give yourself a monster. So I think that would be really ideal, and these are really cheap right now. These have been slept on. These were like $8, $9 in the past, and the reason that is because it got reprinted as a ultra rare in Brothers of Legend, which you can get for like 25 cents. So if you don't have yours, I would get them. I think that's what I would honestly play if I was playing Albaz, which I'm not going to be, but I will also consider playing this in other decks because I think that could be really good. Moving on, we'll go back now since we had to like kind of zoom forward. Okay. Next, I want to talk about number 39, Utopia, ultimate rare coming out of OTS Tournament Pack 17. And this card's super cheap, around $22. I know you might be thinking, well, this has a collector's rare, or this has a astral rare. But the reason I think that this is the best version is because I think most people are first and foremost like ultimate rare fans. Like at least I am, and most people I know are. But also B, like you use this as a material to go into Utopia the Lightning, which is also only available as an ultimate rare as its highest rarity. So I don't think people are going to play like the Starlight Astral rare and then put an ultimate rare over it. It just looks kind of clunky. So I think the ultimate rare is really the best for that, in my opinion. So I think that this is the best version personally to pick up. Of course, that just covers players. So there are going to be more of collectors that are like, well, I'm not going to be playing these cards. I just want them for my binder. But even still, I think just having a matching binder where you have ultimate rare Utopia the Lightning and then ultimate rare number 39, I just think that looks super cool. I do like the Astral rares, but I know a lot of people that just don't like Starlight rares, and that might cover a lot of like old school collectors too that might just not like collector rares. But that's all I really have for that. It's just a cheap OTS ulti that I would keep your eye on. Even if it doesn't go like something crazy, it could definitely go to 35, 40 bucks. Next is going to be Brigand the Glory Dragon. I know we've talked about this, but this is like one of the last cards to go that hasn't been bought out yet. Besides Incredible Ecclesia for Albaz, but this card's really, really good. And it's probably one of maybe like the top 4 cards to SuperPolly into in that deck, because it's really generic. So you just need a Fallen of Albaz, plus 1 level 8 or higher monster. So like you could literally, tag out into like with say you're Fallen of Albaz and a Borlid Savage Dragon, which is prominently played. And then they can't target other monsters you control with monster effects. Really good. And then during the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 Tri-Brigade or Fallen of Albaz from your deck. So I think if you want to play any kind of Tri-Brigade monsters, that's really cool. Or Fallen of Albaz. Probably Fallen of Albaz, I think, was the bit better card because you can add it to your hand. You don't really want to special summon it, but you add it to your hand, and then the next turn you can SuperPolly again, basically. But these are going for around $1. And yeah, it does have a rare, and it's going to have another common from the structure deck, but people are going to, you don't want to play a rare or common in your deck, especially when this is available for so cheap. I think that these will go up towards $4 or $5, maybe $6. And the commons and rares will just be, affordable. But I think if you're going to be playing really high-end cards like ultimate rare, SuperPollys, and all that kind of other stuff, you're not going to want to be playing a rare or common like extra deck monster. So just keep your eye on this. Maybe pick up a few. I have a play set personally. Brandon and Red. I know we talked about this not long ago, and there were still some copies available for the 75 cents to $1. Well, now it's up to like $3, and I think it's too late to invest in it. It might go to like $5, but I think that there's really not enough room for profit. So if you didn't buy them, you can still get them if you want to play the deck. And unfortunately, you have to pay a lot more. You should have got them earlier, but I wouldn't be investing them anymore. But I also would not sell your copies yet. I think that they could still creep up more, and there's a possibility that they can go crazy, like towards the 7 range, but probably not. Probably will settle around the $4 range, $3 to $4 range. So I'm personally just gonna wait to sell mine and see what happens. But yeah, I think it's too late to pick these up, in my opinion, unless you're gonna be playing the deck and it doesn't matter what price they are, you just have to buy them. Moving on, SuperPolly. The ultimate rares are going for around 165 for light play, moving on up to like 180 or 170 really for near mint. You should have got these when they were 90. If you bought them when I talked about them, you did really good, and you can sell them if you want to, take the cash and reinvest it. That's what I personally did. But these will honestly probably continue to go up. But I personally wouldn't buy them at this price because I think that, yeah, they'll stay up for a while, but there probably will be a period when this isn't seeing play and maybe creep back down towards like the 120 mark. kind of like Book of Moon did, but we'll see. It depends. Some people might buy them for 170 and then they're like, I'm never going to list this card again unless it's above 170, which does happen for sure. So we'll have to see, but we might not ever see $100 copies of these ever again, which is sad, but which is why I try to, point you in the right direction ahead of these things happening. Moving on, we have Contact C, which I strongly advise people to pick up the new super rare. There was a period where it was under $1. Just recently got bought out, and it's now $4 and above, going up to $5 quickly, and $6. And there's not many copies left. There's basically just one page, and basically just one page pretty much. These will get replenished, I think, a good bit because it's still in circulation. So if you really wanted this card and missed your chance, like, I wouldn't freak out yet. I think that it'll probably float back down, but I don't know that you'll get them under $1 again. It'll probably stay above $2 from here on out, honestly. I think people slept on this card super hard, and then they remembered, oh my God, this common was $6. And now there's an OTS super rare, which OTS super rares commonly get bought out. So I don't know. I think now that they've got some notice, I don't think that we'll see them under $2 again. Moving on, we have Guardian Chimera. Just wanted to, there's not much to be said about this that hasn't already been said, but it's around $38. And this will probably end up being $60 to $70 in all honesty, because it's going to be played as at least 2 copies in each form of Despia, which there's going to be a lot of forms floating around, or not Despia, Albaz. And there's not really a lot of value in this box to begin with, so not a lot of people are opening these, so there's not going to be a lot of these available once these start getting bought out, and they will soon. So if you don't have yours already, unfortunately you waited a little longer, so you're going to have to pay this much, and it's not going to go back down for a long time. So you're kind of stuck with this, but if you still need these, unfortunately it's not going to go lower, so you better move quick. Next is Dark. I had been talking about this for a while. You could have picked these up for around $1, and they're slowly moving up. There's 9 available here for $1.47, but keep in mind you're going to be paying $2 in shipping from TCG direct unless you spend over $35. So if there's multiple things that you want, I think $1.47 is still a really good price, but $2 shipping is pretty hefty unless you're going to be spending over $35. But then moving down, we get into 220s, and this card is going to just continue to rise in price until next year, until we get like a secret rare or ultra rare reprint. But this card's insane. It really is. And I personally just picked up a few of these. So I bought 2 originally. And then I just ordered, I think, 6 more, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got 6 more of them. So I have 8 total. And I think I got them for around $1 a piece. And I think that it's going to be a pretty fair investment. Probably end up being able to sell these for $3 or $4, especially with Despia running around, because that's going to be all dark monsters. So you can steal pretty much any of their monsters from their graveyard, which is really, really good. And then also I wanted to show you this. I ordered one of these from Hidden Arsenal. It's a pretty good card for water. I just ordered one. I'm not going to go crazy on this until I see what the water support is going to be later this year. And you might be saying, why did you take the sealed package off of it? And the reason is because whoever sent it to me decided to put duct tape from the case onto, like, from the, like the, what do you call them? The top loaders. And then he like ran that over the sealed plastic package around this, and then over the other side. And so when you take it off, there was no way not to rip it. So unfortunately, when I took it out of the top loader, it did rip the sealed package. But in all honesty, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, But as far as keeping cards just in the sealed package, in my experience, when I've done that, it's ended up damaging the card a little bit. Not like damage, but like ended up turning it into like a light or mod play card just because there's no easy way to store it. And it just to me, it looks clunky and tacky because you have to bend it in all different weird directions to try to get it into like a top loader or something. And personally, I just like playing with my cards. So if I get something that's sealed, I want to open it up, put it in a sleeve, and then play it like say Foolish Burial or something. Or at the very least protect it by putting it in a double sleeve. So personally, yeah, I don't really care about sealed. Like if you send me a sealed card, as long as it's in good condition, I don't care. But a lot of times when I've ordered cards and it's come sealed, it's come with a little bit of edge wear because it's not in a sleeve protecting it. So that's my opinion on that. But moving on, we already talked about Kaijus, we can skip that. Forbidden Droplets, I just wanted to point out that the ultimate rare, there are a few left for $300, and then we bought them out here to $350. And then it just goes to $425, 500 on the next page. Mark my words, this will be a $450 card within 6 months, maybe a year. These just won't get cheaper because these aren't in print anymore. These are always going to be desirable. This is a lot more desirable in my opinion than something like Solemn Strike, which is like $360 for the ultimate rare, which also has a high rarity reprint, which is the collector rare. So yeah, I mean, I would make sure you have these, even though you're going to be paying quite a bit. I understand if you can't afford them. Hopefully some of you were able to pick them up at 190 when I pointed it out. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't know that I would be able to afford buying this card. I mean, luckily I have mine from when they were cheap. But yeah, they're just getting really expensive. And then if we look at some of the other versions, Rise of the Duelist is pretty expensive too. I was lucky and got mine right when Brothers of Legend came out. I was able to get this for around $100. And now the Near Mint First Edition is $145, going up to $155. So yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that we're getting a reprint in the Mega Tins, but Forbidden Droplets is just, it's insane. Moving on, we got Mud Dragon of the Swamp. This is just another SuperPolly target. I'm sure you all are familiar with this, but I just wanted to bring this up because this is probably a card that you want to play. Excuse me. Probably a card you want to play if you're playing SuperPolly. And this is the only holo version. So if you don't have one yet, I would get it. You can still get them for around $1, $25, $30. I don't want to count these direct because you have to spend $35 to get it for $1. Otherwise, you're paying $2 shipping. So I'm not really going to count that. And honestly, if you ask me, I don't really like the TCG Player Direct because it's coming from New York. At least maybe if you live in New York or somewhere in the Northeast, it's nice for you because they're close. But it seems like they take a long time to ship. And then for me, usually if I order a card and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, it takes about 10 days for the card to get to me, which I think is unacceptable. Like I really want the card here, like in 7 days, 6 days. But yeah, I've even had sometimes it's taken them 12 to 13 days to get me a card, which I think is just ridiculous. But moving on, we have the structure deck, the Albaz Strike structure deck, and it is going for $18, which is almost double MSRP. Should you order at these price? I think if you have to, yes. But in my opinion, what you need to do is go to like whenever, let's see what the release date is. 4/15. So on 4/15, and every day afterwards, after work, go stop in your Targets, your GameStops or wherever, and pick up every single structure deck that you see, and then just keep them sealed. Of course, if you want to play 3 for yourself, that's fine. Open them up. You're going to get really good staples for your personal collection. But these are going to be a $35 structure deck in no time, probably 4 months or so. It's going to have to be out of print. But yeah, this is going to be the next Salomon Great structure deck. So like if you can get these at $10, like that's one of the best investments you can make. So I would definitely advise you to go, like if you see them at a store for $10, pick up every single one you got. Even if you're picking up some for your buddies that, want these as well. That's always nice. But yeah, I wouldn't let these sit in stores. I mean, otherwise, the other thing is too, is you're not really doing anything wrong, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with going to the store and buying what's there, because I mean, what are these guys doing on here? They're doing the same thing. They're getting these structure decks for $8-9 a piece and selling for double the price. So I mean, they're scalpers too. So I think if everybody else is going to be a scalper, I don't see a problem in doing it for yourself as well. To a certain extent, I would like advertise them at a lower price to people in my locals and stuff. Be like, here, I got some extra. You're welcome to have them, depending on how many I have. But I'm probably going to try to get like 20 of these at the $10 range. Yeah. If I do end up getting that many, and like some of y'all like aren't able to get them for a better price, you can reach out to me and I'll let you know if I'm able to get any. But who knows? I think that it's going to be very competitive. Honestly, there probably will be people showing up at Target as well to try to get these at $10. So I might not be able to get any of these, which really sucks. I'm all for investments and stuff, but it is getting a little sad to see that like the distributors are selling them for double MSRP on release. I think Konami kind of needs to do something about that. I think in 3 months' time, if they want to sell these for $25-30 a piece, that's fine. I agree with that. I'd want to be able to do that too. But these guys are the distributors that are, buying cases and cases and cases of these and then selling for double MSRP, which I think isn't right. I think Konami either needs to do something about this, or what I kind of understand where these stores are coming from at the same time, though they need to make money. But I think maybe Konami needs to have like a direct sell website to consumers so that you can order these for $10, through release. Like they need to do something about these, about the scalping problem. I'm not really like a scalper that's going to go like order, 20 cases online when they're $10 and then make everybody else pay, but I'll definitely pick up how many I can at, Target too, for me personally. But y'all can let me know if that's a wrong thing to do. I understand if that's your thoughts on that. And yeah, maybe you can convince me that I'm wrong to go buy as many as I can find at Target, but who knows? Next is Ice Dragon's Prison. These are definitely getting attention. They're going to be super good against Albaz, I think, in my personal opinion, especially if you're playing more of a mid-range or trap deck. It definitely can be a way to deal with the Albaz cards since they're all dark. But the secret rare reprint is going for around $9 to $10. Looks like $10. And if you notice the price chart, we were going around $7. This is like at the end of January, they were around $7, which is when I said to pick them up. And it's not too late to pick them up now. I think they're going to continue to go up over time. But as far as which version to get, I think I'm kind of a little split on this. In my opinion, my favorite version is the ultra rare because I love Rise of the Duelist. It's probably my favorite set in the last 3 years. I think the ultra rare looks really clean, but I can appreciate the secret rare too. I think it looks like kind of almost fits the picture very well. And I think a lot of people are going to drift towards that. I think they're both going to be in good investments though. I just recently picked up, so I have 2 of the prismatics and I just ordered a play set of these ultra rares because I sold my ultra rares when they were like $65 because that was ridiculous. But these are around $10 to $11 as well. There's still plenty of copies available. That's a pretty good deal there if you want to pick up a play set. But don't sleep on these. The last time people slept on Ice Dragon's Prison, it was $7 when Rise of the Duelist was released, and then we saw it go to 35 and then up to 65. So make sure you have yours. Next, we have Triple Tactics Talent. The reason I pulled this card up is because one of the things that Despy and Albaz can do very well is play on your turn. Or rather, I should say they can play on their opponent's turn. And so having a card like this that can react to you using monster effects is really good, whether it's taking their monster or drawing cards or making them discard cards, whatever you want them to do. It's just really powerful. I think this card will probably get some more attention. I think that it's just a great card to have. The secret rares are going for, let's see, around $50, $55. So these look like they're going up a little bit. This says that they haven't. This is weird. This is showing the market price to be at $70 flat, but that's just not true. They've been selling for around 45. Okay, this looks more accurate. Yeah, this is definitely more accurate. So yeah, these have been going down. I think they were for like $45 for a little while, but still not bad if you want to pick these up. It's Rise of the Duelist. It's going to maintain decent value. The ultra rares are fine as well. I don't know. It'll probably be a while before we see another reprint. I'm kind of a little hesitant on some of these more expensive cards to wait until we get Ghosts from the Past. Just because you never know what they're going to reprint. But that is a long time to wait, and a lot of these cards can move quite a bit in value before then. So it is a little bit of a risk right now picking up competitive cards. So just keep that in mind. Especially since they say specifically that they're going to be reprinting popular competitive cards. Next is Crosstalk Designator from the 2021 10 of Ancient Battles. I know we've talked about this quite a bit, but I don't think we've talked about this in a little while. This is seeing a lot of play now with what we've seen like in regionals and locals and just the competitive scene in general. These were down to like $25 to $28 for a little while. So around $29, and they've moved up a little bit to like 33. But to be honest, I think that there's probably quite a few of these on the market, or at least a lot of people have these, because when the set first came out, this card was going for, $100, $120 at certain points. If you look back, let's see, a year on release, yeah, these were going for around $110 to $120. I sold a couple for like 120 when I opened my tins, but the problem is like whenever people weren't really playing this card afterwards, like this was super hyped up in the beginning, but then people weren't really playing it. So it fell a lot in price, but I think a lot of vendors were opening this set like as fast as they could because of just how much easy money this was, because we're pulling about 2 to 3 copies of this per case, maybe even 4. I got one case with 4 copies of this. So I think there's probably a lot of vendors opened it, got burned whenever this card fell out in price. And now there's just a lot of these on the market. Like, as you can see here, Gamer's Choice has 240 copies at $33. With that being said, if everybody's playing this card, which could happen for sure in the future, this card will go up in price. I don't think it'll go back up to 100 necessarily, but I think $45 to $50 is viable for sure. So if you want to play this card, I would get it. If you want to invest in this card, it could be a little while before we see a return on investment that's worthwhile. But I think I'm personally holding on my extra copies as an investment. Because like with Dragoon, we didn't get a reprint for going on 2 years now. I guess this year, the Megatins, it'll be, when we get the reprint, it'll have been 2 years since it originally came out. So this could be a while, and I don't know that Konami is going to reprint the one card that's barely holding this set together, because they still need to sell these extra 10s that they have laying around. So I don't think they're going to reprint this anytime soon. So if you need yours, get them. Even though there are a lot of copies, I think this could get hyped up and a lot of people buy them. And the other thing is to remember, if there are a lot of copies on the market, vendors are smart, at least maybe not all of them. Like maybe some of them just want to fire sell this. But for me personally, if I had 100 copies and I'm seeing, sales, it looks like it's getting bought out, I'm going to take a lot of mine off the market and then wait to see where we settle at. So just keep that in mind. Last is Mokimoki. Promised one of the viewers that I would kind of go over this. And to be honest, I don't really know what you do with this deck, other than you just have this kind of cute normal monster. But I don't know what other cards would really go along with this deck. You'll have to let me know. I think it was Ryan Tran that mentioned this. Like, what does support do? You know, what does this deck do? Like, is it even a deck, or is it just a single card? This is kind of a card from my childhood, like when it originally came out. So I honestly don't know anything about it. Back then, it was just kind of a joke whenever we had these. But if you wanted to speculate on the support, there is a reprint and Speed Jewel GX box. So if you just want some, that's fine. But all the other copies are going for like $3, which is crazy to me. I don't know why it's so expensive, other than just getting hyped up for new support. But yeah, I guess that's all I really know about it. So I can't really say much more about it. I'm mainly a competitive player, so I just don't see Mokimoki crossing that line. But yeah, let me know, Ryan, what you know about the support, and if you know anything about the deck. Other than that, thanks for everybody tuning in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you next week with some more deck profiles. Someone mentioned that they wanted to maybe do an Eldlick, like an Eldlick budget deck profile. So I'll look into doing that. I don't have all the cards for it. So what we'll do is I'll probably just do like an online profile for it. And then I know somebody else also wanted to do Utopia. I do know how to play Eldlick, so that I don't really have to do too much research on that. But as far as Utopia, I mean, I don't really know much about that deck, so I'm gonna have to do quite a bit of research on that. So that's gonna take me a little bit of time to figure out the deck and learn what I'm playing, because I don't want to just like look up a deck profile and then just spit that back out to you, but then not know how to play the deck. I think that's quite a bit of value to offer, is showing you how to play the deck. But other than that, everybody enjoy your weekend, like I said, and I'll see you next time.